Steve Phillips joins us now. And Steve, the first place Blue Jays sit 15 games over 500, and the trade deadline is just 3 weeks away. So on a scale of stand pat to all in, what's the right approach leading up to July 31st?
I think it has to be all in for the Blue Jays. I think you have to take into consideration how the last couple of years have gone, the fact you invested $500 million in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and this is a win-now team. Your starting pitchers are getting a little bit older, so this is the window to do it. Plus, the American League is winnable right now. The Tigers are a good team, there's no question about it, but they don't scare me, and so this is the year to go for it for the Blue Jays. I think you have to go all in on it, and I look at them needing either an impact starting pitcher and some support in the bullpen, or an impact closer and some depth in the starting pitching. So, for example, the Arizona Diamondbacks are a team, they're 4.5 out. I think that they've got a chance to sell. Zach Gallen over his last 4 starts has been locked in. He's their number 1 starter. He's a free agent at the end of the year. I'd love to put him on the Blue Jays in that rotation. Amaro Kelly would be a nice fit in that rotation. If you do that, then you're going to have to go a little less in the bullpen. But if you're going to go for the closer, move Jeff Hoffman. I love Jeff Hoffman. He's a very serviceable, very effective reliever. I'd love to move him in the 7th and 8th inning. Go ahead and get yourself an Emmanuel Clase at the end of the game from the Guardians. They look like they're falling out of that playoff race. There's word out there that they may trade him. He'd be a great fit there. Or Ryan Helsley for the St. Louis Cardinals. 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Put him at the end of the game. Move Hoffman up. And if you do that, then you get a lesser starting pitcher, a guy like Adrian Hauser, who we just saw shut down the Blue Jays. He's been great over his last 4 starts. In 9 starts, he's got a 1.56 ERA. I think there's a number of ways to go. Impact starter, lesser reliever. Impact closer, lesser starter. But pitching is where I would focus.
Okay, and you've got some great options there. Now, Steve, the last time the Jays won the division was 2015, which was also Alex Anthopoulos' last year in Toronto. That season, Anthopoulos drained the prospect pool to acquire some big names in July. Then Mark Shapiro, who became Jays president later that fall, didn't exactly love that strategy. The system isn't as deep now as it was then. But, Steve, do you think the current Jays regime would actually embrace the idea of emptying the farm and going all in?
Such an interesting question, right? It's one thing when you're a new guy coming in to take over and you want a deep farm system and the guy before you drained it. But also, listen, right now, Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, some pressure on them that they're winding down their contracts right now, and they need to win in order to sustain their future in the organization. And so, you know, I do know this. They're 2 very credible guys, and they always want to do the right thing. And the right thing personally isn't always the right thing for the organization. So if it were, you know, if my job's in jeopardy, I might say, take all the prospects. I'll survive now, get a new contract, and they'll figure out my prospects later. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I do think they'll be aggressive. I do think they're going to be willing to give up some impact prospects, but I don't know that they're going to go as far as Alex Anthopoulos did. Here's my opinion. Prospects get general managers fired. You can wait for prospects to figure it out and develop and become players 4 years down the road, but a lot of times they don't. And how many times do you pass up an impact player now because you hope this guy's going to be something in the future? Give me the chance to win right now. I'll find more prospects down the line.
Yeah, and it's certainly exciting times with the Jays right now, but it's hard to believe the Jays are a first-place team despite Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking a big step backward from his 2024 production. So can Toronto close the deal on a division crown without a return from vintage Vladdy, Steve?
No, they can't. They need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to get things righted. They need him to get back on track. It's been a great story. Ernie Clement and Addison Barger and Nathan Lucas, they've been great stories. Alejandro Kirk and what he's doing. Springer, the rejuvenation of George Springer at 35 years old. But the reality is the league is going to start to make some adjustments. And I expect some regression toward the mean, where some of those guys are going to come back to the pack. They're going to have to figure out how to make young player adjustments at the big league level. The most predictable star needs to step up and be that guy to carry this team. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. must get back to being that $500 million man if they're going to win this division and go to the postseason and have a shot to go to the World Series.
Okay, that is the recipe, and the Jays are winning at a 581 clip so far. If that were to continue, they would finish with 94 victories, their most since 1993.